Graph here again. So still on the Xamarin.Forms 3.0 flow. Today I'm going to be talking about Visual State Manager. Now, what is the Visual State Manager? So, Visual State Manager helps to manage, the current view, the state of the current view of the application. So, there are several views have different state changes. A button can be pressed, a button can be disabled, a button can be focused, a text view can be pressed, it can be hovered upon, it can be orientation can change. So there are different states of our application, of our views in our application lifecycle. So the Visual State Manager rather helps us to pretty much in the barest minimum like raise events when this state change and then react to it. Okay, so you can have an adaptive layout. Yeah, so a layout that could change based on, oh, if the screen is landscape, put the text here. If the screen is portrait, make this one bigger. If the screen is this size, make this one bigger. If the screen is smaller, make this one smaller. So if you do it that way, yeah, so Visual State Manager can help us do that. So enough chit chat, we're just going to jump into the code. So our root view stack layout, I could use a flex layout, but it doesn't matter. This is just an example, so I love stack layout as well. So by default, every view has a default group called common state. Now the hierarchy is we have Visual State Manager. Visual State Manager has groups, and each group has states, and each state has its setters. Okay. Now these setters are exclusive, mutually exclusive, in that no two states can the states rather are mutually exclusive. So there can be only one state at a time. A view cannot have two states at the particular time. Yeah, in a group, that is. So I can have Visual State Manager dot Visual State groups. Okay, then inside my Visual State groups I could have a Visual State group. Now each group always have a name property. Now this name is not significant per se, it's just a way of eye candy. So the code doesn't actually pass this name property. So there's a default one called common groups, which have three states. So we have the normal, we have the focused, and we have the disabled. Okay, so this is how you define a state for a property. Now how is it being used? So let's use an example. We're going to use our entry. Now to define a Visual State, you have to have the full tag of the entry. Yeah, so text will be, okay, actually we don't need a text. On for entry for our test case. Very original of me. So let's give it a margin of 10. Yeah, so we can put it. Now we can bring our groups inside here. No, not here. So these are our question now. So in the normal state, what do we want this view to have? In our focus state, what do you want this view to have? On our disabled state, what do you want the view to have? So we can do in our normal states. Yeah. Property, which property do you want? Background. There is a property called background color, yeah. Yep, there's vertical background color. Value is gonna be blue. So in the normal state, it's gonna be blue. In our focus state, we want this uh, to be green. In our disabled state, we want this to be, come on, yellow. Well, how can we disable this view now? So that one can be a logic later on. Okay, just for the sake of this code, we're gonna have a button to disable the view, disable entry. So we're gonna handle the click here. So we have to give this entry a name, sample entry. So when the button is clicked, sample entry dot enabled equals to not sample entry dot enabled. Yeah. So this will help us disable and enable our sample entry. What are you complaining about? Cannot yellow. What did I yellow? So if you give it a background color, what does it do? What is it complaining about? Cannot convert yellow. Where did I have yellow? I don't have yellow anywhere else now. Why are you still complaining? So it's building. Why does it still complain? Can is here somewhere I have this yellow I did not see? Is okay. Let me just run it and see what it looks like. Okay, it's cool now. So if you notice, now our live player is able to pick up our state manager as well. So in the normal state, so by default, the Xamarin.Forms calls the common it's not common group, common states. Yeah. So this it calls this a normal state, focused and disabled. These are by default Xamarin calls. So whenever you disable a button, disable is fire. Whenever it's focused, focus is fire. Whenever it's normal, normal is fire. That's by default. So if you notice, our normal is being fired in our live player, in our previewer, sorry. So if I were to take this to black, this should pick it up as well. But it takes a while. So let's just leave it as that. And run and see how this will look like on our Nexus 5 X API P. Okay, it's building. It's building. Okay. Any moments now? Yeah. So it's done building. What's failing? Cannot set content visual style. Does not have a content property attribute. 1222. 1222. Why does it not have a content property? Okay. Okay, so you needed to have a visual state setter. Visual state set as, yeah. This code is just dirty. Okay, hopefully this will give me some form of sanity and I can see what I'm actually doing here. Yeah, so state group, state setter property background color. Yeah, yep. Okay, let's see how this goes now. Any moment now. Any moment now is building, is deploying. Come on. Yeah. So these are our focus states. Now what happens in our focus? Background is blue. Cool. So in our disabled, they're all blue. Crap. So they're all blue, disabled or not. So to fix that, now when it's disabled, it goes to yellow. When it's normal, it is green. So to help you explain now, so you may wonder, okay, if it's focused, what happens when you go back to normal? Does it unset? Yes, it does unset. So whenever you call the focus state setter, it sets this value, and whenever it leaves that state, it unsets every value it set. Yeah. So each of these states are exclusive to each other. One doesn't affect the other. So disabled is yellow. If it becomes enabled, if it leaves the disabled state, it unsets the yellow. Okay. Why is normal not getting us a green? I'll look at that later. So focused is blue. Yeah. Disabled, this is just, everything is flipped. So disabled is okay. Yeah, disabled is yellow. Oh, cool. So disabled is yellow, normal is green, focus is blue. So now yellow means it's disabled, we cannot edit it. Yeah. So if we enable it now, it's in the normal state, and we set the background color to be green. Cool. If it's focused, our background color is blue. So each of these properties all happened independently. Two can't happen at the same time. In the focus state, background color is set to blue. Once it leaves the focus state, the background color is unset from blue. It's set to whatever it was before, and life goes on for it. Yeah. So that's how the state manager works. So you can have multiple groups and multiple states. Okay. So to show that example now, I'll have an extra group called my state. As I said before, the Visual State group name is actually not significant. So we have one called uh, stateful. This naming is terrible, but hopefully it helps explain what I'm trying to say. So my state, our background color is going to be peach. No, there's not color in peach. Uh, Purple. Now, how do we go to this my custom state? You use the Visual State Manager class. Now, how do you do that? Now, we're going to use our handle click Visual State Manager dot go to state. So the first parameter is the element we want to use, which is going to be, where's our sample entry, and the second is going to be our state name. Which state do we want to call? Now, what did I call my own state? I call this stateful. So it's going to go to a stateful whenever I click on the button. And what happens whenever I call the stateful state? Stateful state. So it's the background color goes purple. Okay, cool. So let's see how this looks on iOS actually. I'm tired of Android. Yeah. This is gonna build choker any moment now. So I'm sure at this point in time you can think of 2 million possible ways of using this state manager and how helpful it's going to be to our lives. I'll still give one other example before we leave here. So this building. Our text is up there. Haha. iPhone. Ah, okay, so I can click on it then. But so if you click on this, it goes to our personal state, and now our state is setting background to purple. Yeah, only that we don't have a handler to actually leave that state. So, but if you click on it though, okay, to make it interesting, let's our Android that was more trustworthy. So our button is rigged to change states upon clicking the event. So within your lifecycle, there are many things you could use to rig your event. Phone orientation, network change, whatever handler, whatever event you're using, you can always call the state manager and then pass the state to whatever it is you're doing. And now you can call several states. So if we're in our state now, if you click on it, it goes over to blue, out is normal, focus is blue, our state is purple. Why is not clicking? Ah, something may have happened there. Mm, there's a code issue happening there. Okay, cool. So now here the thing, you can have multiple states. So you can put all of this in a style. Content page dot target type. Okay. Now we set uh setter property. This is going to take a whole. So you can put all of this as a property in styles, and then append it to multiple entries. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that because that's going to really take much of the time. So let's say we have another button here, random button, which when okay, it's not actually not going to do any click events. So let's see our random button background color fuchsia. So we want the color for the to change whenever we call a particular state for this button. Yeah. So how do we do that? Our same old way. We call our state manager here as well. So we don't need this normal one. We can just use our personal my states. Uh, yeah. So this should work. Background color should be, what's the current background color for this? Fuchsia. I have issue spelling that name, so I have to copy it. Yeah. So this button's name is going to be X. We're going to give it a name sample button as well. So yeah, when we click on our actual button, we want this to change to. So visual states manager dot go states sample button. Yeah. So this is going to fire multiple. You can fire multiple events or multiple states here, and it's going to work pretty fine. Okay. So let's see how this works. So to review our stateful state, whenever we call the stateful, we set the background color to fuchsia, and then when we leave that state, it goes back to normal. But we need to get a way to leave that state, which I have not implemented. So now is our regular button. Now it's fuchsia. This one is purple. Cool. These are our normal states. These out. But we need to be able to set the states out elsewhere again. That's just the advantage of this. So yeah, and so when implementing your code, you can do that properly. So once you're leaving it, if you set the state, you always have to unset the state or set a new state. Yeah. So now, so let's say we have a product page. I like product pages; they are also very nice. So we are going to have a box view, height request of 400, color is red. Yep, no, 400 is too much, so 300. And then we have a stack layout of details, price detail. Text is price name, attributes is bold, font is large. Okay, we have another label. Text is price description, which is very long. I'm trying to show you how to implement adaptive layout using Visual State Managers. Okay, yeah. So price description, which is very long. We have a last label, which is text is the actual price. Attributes bold, font large. Okay, cool. So our orientation is vertical now. Now we're going to have Visual State groups. Yeah, this is for our start class. So we're going to have Visual State group. Name is going to be orientation. Now, what do we want to achieve when this is fired? Now, inside the visual state, we're going to have several visual states. Name is going to be portrait. Yeah, yeah. Setup property. So, what do we want to set whenever the view is on portrait mode? Our orientation. Setup property orientation of the stack layout. Value is going to be vertical. Yeah. Now, when is in our other mode, which is landscape, what do we want to achieve? Landscape. We want the orientation to be horizontal. So to give an example what I'm talking about, so this is portrait mode. So let's try how this look on. This is what's going to look on landscape, which is not nice. So on landscape, we want something like this. Hmm. Where am I missing it? What's it complaining about? Horizontal, not horizontal. Ha ha ha. So for our box view, where's our box view? Yep. So this is what we want our box view to look. It's very long and can span multiple lines. Yeah. So if we are using our flex layouts now, this could span multiple lines, but the logic for that, let's just not worry about that now. So on landscape, this is what we want our product page to look like, and then on portrait, we want it to look like this. So we can achieve that using State Manager. So Now by calling, we have a size change event handler we can rig into and change the state to fit this. Yeah. So now let's do that. So in our initialize, we can call the size change. Yeah. So string orientation equals to width. If the width is greater than the height, then it's going to be landscape, else portrait. So what we're doing is whenever the size of the screen changes, we check is the current width higher than the height. If it's higher than the height, it's landscape. If it's less than, it's portrait. Then after this, we're going to use our Visual State Manager dot go to state. We need to give our stack layout a name. So it's called root layout. So go to state, root layout, orientation. Okay, we don't need this again. Yeah, so this should cut it. So if you go to the orientation portrait state, orientation is vertical. If you go to the landscape state, orientation is horizontal. Now let's see how this runs actually in our app. If all things going well and fine, this should be flawless. But oh well, let's see. It's building, it's building, it's building. On iOS, kind of something similar. Also quite horrible. So you can make this can help you make your view adaptable. So you can build with several views in mind. So on this view, I want this to be scrollable. On this part, I don't want this to be scrollable. You can keep setting that and disabling as you deem fit. So this is our view. Now, if you turn it horizontal, yep, bam, everything works as fine. But because I want to get that sweet experience, I'm going to use it on iOS, which doesn't cause that lag. So, but the idea is, yeah, so as the size change, we change the state of the view depending on the current side. If it's landscape, we fire the landscape state, and then whenever the landscape, whatever state that we set for the landscape is going to be set. You can have multiple setters there, and it wouldn't still complain. You can set a billion and one things here, and once it leaves that state, all of these are set back to the way they were before it came there. Okay, so these are our, I love the iPhone X. So these are our iPhone and landscape. Yep, portrait, landscape, portrait, landscape, portrait, landscape, and portrait, landscape, and portrait. So cool. So different states are being fired as the app is being run. Now we can set several properties. So let's say, okay, we want the box view to also do different things when the state is fired, or this particular label. Yeah, we can actually get that working. So you can have so on a vertical. So now we're not setting the so but on portrait state we want the text to be portrait mode, and then we want it to be landscape mode. Yep, we're setting text. Now in our code, all we have to do is also call that one real estate manager dot go to state. We need to give it a name as well so we can reference it from behind. Where's the label? Sample label. What did I call it? Yeah, it's called sample label, so why can't I reference it here? I call this, sorry. So now we can fire multiple for multiple views to change their state depending on whatever we want. So it gives you that dynamic control of your whole application. You can trigger events so that I don't have to have much calculation. So normally what we would have done is in our code behind on styles change, we get the height, we get the stack layout, we'll set the orientation to horizontal, we set the label, we get the text and set it to portrait mode and whatnot. This is by the way. But now we can do most of the thing in XAML. Yeah. Now XAML has become so fluid that we can do most of our full work in XAML, and then we have little or less code to manipulate our UI. So at the end, it creates that abstraction for us. It helps us achieve the abstraction of view in the XAML, logic in the code base in the back. Yeah. So now same thing in landscape mode, awesome. Portrait mode, cool. You can go on that landscape, yeah. Fine. So that's how the Visual State Manager works. That's a summary of how the Visual State Manager works. I hope that this can set on the right foot to actually go on and try creating things. So you can have, but you can have several states in a group, but they all have to be in a group, and the states in a group are all exclusive. So no two states can be happen at the same time. So if I were to come here and after firing this, I also fire landscape and I fire portrait. It's going to be one after the other. They can't happen simultaneously. Yeah. So you can't have your phone in both landscape and portrait at the same time. No. One has to be greater. Else, yeah, one has to be greater. So you can have several states. So in a group, I can have several states, but I can't repeat names. So if we try to repeat a state name, it's going to complain. So due to our previous, that's what it say. Visual state names must be unique. Okay, so you see, in a group, the names must be unique. But now let's see what happens if I'm outside this group. Actually, state names has to be unique, group or no group. Yeah, because it wouldn't still matter even if you're outside the group or not. Yeah, it will still complain about the same thing. The group names must be unique. Uh, group two. Yeah, names will be unique. So we still have the same issues. So visual states has to be unique. Groups, you group your states in group. Now this is just for eye candy for us to actually help us have a sane sense when looking at our view. So we can say, oh, okay, all these groups are together. But technically, all the states are actually independent. No two states are actually can exist at the same time. Okay, so I hope that is going to get to the right foot and actually keep you posted. I can't wait to see what you have done with this. As usual, if you have issues, if you have challenges, if you have requests, if there are topics you wish to cover, you can always reach out to me and I'll always be glad to help you. So till then, peace out.